Hey everyone, welcome to another Being Intentionally Creative video. We are going to talk about a few things today. I have some notes that I want to refer to, so if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at my notes. I don't have anything specific to put my notes on to have them straight so I can just keep looking at the camera. Before we start, I want you to have a look at this picture. I want you to let your imagination look at it in a way that what are you seeing within this picture? What does it bring to mind? What does it get you thinking about? Because we as creatives, we can look at this, and if we allow our imagination to, I'll say, have its way with us, we can come up with some pretty unique things that we would see in this picture or any other picture. But we will come back to this picture toward the end of this video. So pictures allow your imagination to perhaps write, whether it be a poem, a song, a story of some sort. It could inspire you to draw. You see something that someone else has taken a picture of, and all of a sudden it kind of inspires you. Maybe you've always wanted to do some drawing, but you never really have. But if you allow your creative imagination to take hold, it may give you ideas on something you could create of your own. Pictures, they are great for conversation. And the best picture of all is nature. A lot of people like doing pictures of nature. So a picture can inspire you. Nature can inspire you. Pictures allow you to see how big the world really is. There is no end to what is out there as far as the pictures. And when I say pictures, so I guess I should expand on that, because you may be thinking it's a snapshot somebody's taken. It could be a painting that someone's taking. But imagine a picture being even that much bigger. A vase could technically be a picture because it is something that is created. Flowers could be a picture. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that's specifically like this. It could be something that you're just seeing that in and of itself, it could become a picture. So I just want you to start expanding your horizon, if you will, on what a picture actually could be versus it just being something like I've shown you. And instead of it just being something you might have on your phone, imagine a picture being the world outside, a flower, an animal. They in and of themselves are a picture, even though you haven't actually taken a picture. So within this Being Intentionally Creative, I am sort of breaking boundaries because I want you and others to understand just how big this world of creativity is. And it doesn't have to just fit into certain categories, certain boxes, whatever. Okay? So I want you to start thinking outside the peripheral box that I think a lot of us have put ourselves into when it comes to creativity. A picture may also allow you to see what you are grateful for. An interesting concept, maybe one that you're, challenged by, but a picture can help you to see what you are grateful for. It could be, a gathering of people, and you're grateful for those people. It could be something you've recently bought and you're grateful for that. So again, the picture in a very loose format can show you what you are grateful for. Now, I have a question for you. If you're watching this video, I have to maybe think that you are interested in your creativity, or you're trying to understand creativity a little more. Are you interested in tapping into your creative landscape? Do you want to expand? Do you want to understand this more? Or are you just curious to see what I've got going on in my world of being intentionally creative? But I want you to think about that question. Have you wanted to? Have you not done anything with it because of others in your world? Are you interested? So keep that in the back of your head while we're, doing these videos, and as you're watching. I think the more you watch and the more I share with you, it's going to open up your mind to that creative world. I'm hoping it does anyways, because it's a beautiful place to be at times. And we are all creative. And I'm going to say that, and I'm going to keep saying that because I know it to be a truth. Regardless of whether I've said it or other people have said it, we are creative beings. And I'm going to show you all the different, and I've said about the magical places that creativity lives. If my eyes wander, I'm not going to apologize because I have nature out in front of me and I've just seen some crows fly by. And again, they're creative as well. So, I want to bring a couple of people into your awareness that you may not know about, and through that we want to expand a little bit, because you can listen to me, but I think there are other people in the world out there that you may want to listen to as well in order to understand more about this creative. And everyone's going to share their ideas of creativity with you a little bit differently. One of the people, and unfortunately he's no longer alive, is Sir Ken Robinson. And if you get the opportunity, I am going to highly recommend you watch some of his videos, because in them he is a huge fan of creativity. He understands it. He knows where it lives as well. He knows the creativity that's in children. He spoke about creativity and it needing to be in schools and how vitally important it is. I don't really remember how I came across him, which it doesn't really matter. It's the fact that he is an inspiring person to listen to, and it is very unfortunate that he is no longer alive, because he, as I say, he truly gets the whole creativity thing. And I'm almost talking like he's still here, but I guess through his videos, he is still bringing to light just how important creativity is in our world. And he's also written many books, so that's something you may look into as well. Pablo Picasso, now he is also deceased, but I wanted to bring him in because of his uniqueness with art. And I'm talking about some specifics here, but we will get into breaking that out in future videos. What do I love about Pablo Picasso? He, with his artwork, was so unique. I didn't really follow his sculptures. It was his paintings that caught my attention. Why? Because they're unique. They bring in so many different parts as from a creative perspective when it comes to his paintings, and they're colorful. And I am all about color. I know I may, dress kind of basic sometimes, but I am very much about color. If you could see my leggings, you'd get it, that yes, I am a colorful individual. I used to be just black and white, and I got tired of that. I thought, no, I don't need to hide myself in the color black. I can wear color, and I can be totally cool with it. I think people need to understand when it comes to their creativity, we are all unique in what we do, and I think that's what makes us special from being creatives. I struggle with people who do the same thing as everyone else is doing. I don't like that. For me, I have to be different. So I will spend hours trying to come up with ideas for my artwork and for the things I do. Because in some ways, yes, I want to stand out, but in other ways, I also want to be able to inspire others to potentially look at my art and be able to come up with ideas of their own. And if we are all doing the same thing, it gets a little boring on following what everyone else is doing. So I just want to point that out, that I like Pablo because he is unique. He did things very differently, and that became his signature. So keep that in mind when you're working with your creativity. You don't have to follow the masses, and sometimes if you go outside of that, you are then you are creating conversation pieces with what you do. And when I say pieces, again, I'm not going to just be focusing in on some specifics. We're going to go outside that realm, but not today. Shakespeare. Ooh, Shakespeare. Do you remember in high school reading about Shakespeare? I never really understood the language very much. The reason I'm bringing Shakespeare into this conversation today is I think that everyone is entitled to their opinion on what someone may be saying in what they write, or in the pictures they create, or in the designs they do. We sometimes get that this is the set way, this is what it means. And that's not, I don't think, always the case. Unless you can sit down with the person who has actually created the piece, everyone is potentially going to see things differently. And I think that makes it very interesting, and again, can create some really cool conversation. I don't want people to feel that there's a, this is a hard set way that was meant to be meant, or it can't mean this. So when I talk about Shakespeare, I remember in my grade 13 English class, and it may have been Hamlet, I can't remember what play it was of his, but I was going in a totally different direction than everyone else. Now, there were Cole's notes that said this is what it meant. Everyone else was agreeing this was what it meant. But it really narrows the focus down on why couldn't it mean something else when we were dealing with this book. So that actually ended up shutting me down from having an opinion on what someone could be seeing in something. So I want you to understand that when it comes to being intentionally creative in my course, I'm open to listening, because everyone's going to see things differently. Everyone's been through different experiences. So I think we need to feel free in, this is how I think it is. I can't talk to Shakespeare and find out what he really meant because he's dead. Why not be open to the conversation? Because again, interpretation is reliant on who you are as an individual, as is your creativity. You may do something with an idea in mind, and then other people are seeing it differently. And that makes it even more cool, I think. I've published a book. I have written poetry. My poetry, some of the stuff that I wrote, I totally know what it's about. But when you read it, you could be seeing something else. And that's totally cool too, because you're bringing your experiences into it. So let's understand that when it comes to creativity, it is much broader and open to more interpretation than I think some people see it as. So I like the idea that you create something or you're doing something and it gets conversation going. And it makes people start to think in different ways. So keep that in mind when you're dealing with your creativity. If you have a specific idea in mind, fair. But be open to other people's interpretation of what you've done. And again, create conversation, because I think that's incredibly important. Now, I want to read something to you. This is something I wrote back in 2018. It was part of a writing retreat I was on for a day. I just want you to listen. Obviously we can't have a conversation about, but I just want you to listen to it. Perhaps close your eyes, listen to this, and let your imagination take you to what the scene might actually look like. And I would like to think that with the people that are watching, that would vary from person to person, which is totally cool. Camilla sat at the head of the table, and her family flanked her on both sides. They had been drawn together as the matriarch of the family had passed away 3 days earlier. Her one brother sat at the far end of the table. Then there was Paul. He sat off to the side. He was only to be involved should there be any decisions the rest of the family couldn't agree upon. He was to be the tiebreaker, an outsider with nothing to gain by any decision made. Camilla sat silently, watching with interest as conversations ensued. At one point, when things got out of hand, she quietly pushed her chair back, stood up, and with an air of authority addressed all of those in the room, those who may have listened to her in the past but never heard her. Her calm, cool demeanor had them in silence, and for the next few moments, her words were all they heard. That's it. That's the end of that. I just wanted to read that to you because I'm almost wondering, when people don't think they're creative, if you had closed your eyes and you were just listening to that, your imagination would have given you a scene to see. You are creative. So knowing that you can read something and without a lot of detail as far as what the room looked like, how the people looked, what kind of day it was, your imagination has gotten creative with what I've just read to you. So again, for those of you who don't think you're creative, what did this bring to mind when I read it to you? I'll leave you with that because again, I can't have a conversation with you right now. It's all one-sided, but Again, I'm going to do things that are going to make you start thinking from a more creative standpoint and from a greater realm of that standpoint. Okay? Now, we're going to come back to this picture, and then I'm going to end this video. You've seen it a couple of times now, right? You've gotten the opportunity, and if I could keep it straight, well, that might be fun. But, you know, maybe seeing it like this sort of triggers different things. We could even do this, and you'd see different things. I wanted to share with you what I see in this picture, and then I'm curious if you were to sit with pen and paper, pencil or paper, crayon and paper, whatever it is you've got, and write down all the different things you see, because we are going to, throughout these videos, get your imagination, get your creativity going, and not just on stuff like this. Trust me, I am not even touching the tip of the iceberg on what this is. So let me share with you what I came up with when I looked at that. And again, I'm going to take my eyes away from the video camera for a moment and just share with you. Okay. I see a sun. I see feathers. I see patterns in the feathers. I see gemstones, music note, wings of a butterfly. And that's within the feathers themselves. I see a smile. The eyes and nose reminded me of Native American paintings. I see needles and skewers. Someone deep in thought because of their eyes. Someone who is satisfied because of how their eyes look and the smile they have. Color because of the feathers. So I think of rays surrounding the sun. Surfboards. I see a maze. I see flowers. And I see hearts. Now, when I've done my course online with a group of people, I give them a few minutes to actually look at that picture, and then they can tell me what they see. I don't want to give my answers up straight away. I just, I ask them first, so what are you seeing in it? You have to understand, when you come up with things, it's your mind being creative. Some people may look at this and go, I can't see surfboards in that. Or maybe now that I've mentioned it, you can. It probably took me a little bit. I had to sort of sit, and that's what being intentionally creative is all about. That's what my course is all about, is helping you. No, I don't even want to call it helping, inspiring you. That's really what I want to do. I want to inspire you to see beyond what you would normally see. To some people, this is just a picture. To other people, like myself, because I've had a chance to look at it, I've dived deep into it, I'm seeing things you may not have seen. The more we talk, the more I share with what I potentially see and the ideas I give you, I'm very much hoping that I inspire you to truly understand just how creative you are, allow you to tap into your creativity in ways you've never thought of doing it before, and also being able to have conversations with others who are creatives and getting to see and be inspired by them and their insights into creativity. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to creativity, a lot to talk about. I'm hoping that in our conversation today, that it may be just a little opening that you're starting to see. I do feel really confident that by the time we're done with these videos, and I don't know how long they'll go on for, I'm really hoping that you are starting to see a more wider range, that the lens is opening up, the blinds are opening up, that it's just expands and expands and expands and expands, because it's a beautiful place to live, in our imaginations, in the creative things we do. Just the joy that comes along with it, I can't explain that enough. I seriously can't. I'm hoping you'll start to feel it the more we go along. Anyway, that is it for today. That's all I'm going to talk about. I want to give you things to think about. Hopefully you'll join me for the next video that we do, when we dive a little bit more into this. But trust me when I say, and I'm going to keep telling you this, until either you get sick of it, you stop watching me, or if it inspires you even a little bit, enjoy the journey that we're going to go on. Trust in your creative talents, because you do have them. And hopefully, by the time, well, at some point, it just inspires you to tap into your creativity more, which is exactly what I want, so that you can find the joy in your creativity and understand just how broad that is. Anyway, thank you for coming along today. Drop any comments you have below. Let me know about the sun, what you were able to see in it. And yeah, that's it. That's all I've got. Take care and bye for now.